Tar.
You mentioned how important the draw is, Wambach Coletti, and boy, that's going to be something to watch because we saw last year how it came down to 1-goal contest, and possession is going to be key here.
This is the 8th top offense in America for North Carolina. They average almost 15 goals per game this season. North Carolina will move it around early. Head coach is Joe Bresci in his 17th season at the Tar Heels. He also played for the Tar Heels as a defensiveman in 1990, was his final season as a player. Andrew Price goes towards goal. Sean Byrne in the net, the 2-time of a week Patriot League goalkeeper of the week. And Army's defense starting off strong, 30 on the shot clock. James Matten pressured heavily, and the ball's on the ground.
Great play there by Christian Fournier.
The Tar Heels reset, but they have not much time on the shot clock, and it will be turned over. Army's defense comes up strong. They're the number 1 scoring defense in America. They just allow just under 6 goals per game, first in the Patriot League, about 5.25 if you be specific. Gunnar Fellows falls to the ground. First flag of the day comes within the first 2 minutes of this game. North Carolina will go to the box. Man-up opportunity for Army, where they have succeeded this year. 6th best in the Patriot League with their man-up percentage at about 53%.
And we'll get a first look at players like the Plunkett brothers, Jackson Eicher, and Gunnar Fellows, who took the penalty.
That's a technical foul, 30 seconds push. So for Army right now, Matthew, what are you looking for them to get their first goal today? How did they take advantage with the man up?
Well, it's interesting because we see that they're an attack in transition. I'd like to see how they do in a set-piece situation here to start the game.
You talked about Jackson Eicher. He'll move it around. Braden Fountain, who's at X, who has the ball. He has 27 goals on the season, who leads the team. We're going to get our first shot outside. Braden Fountain will recover. He's top 5 in the nation in goals average per game. The freshman phenom has come on, and he has been a big part of what this Army offense is all about. Evan Plunkett's shot goes high and wide.
Plunkett, a unanimous All-American in 2024, and Fountain 14th in the nation in goals.
Weisenborn moves around to Eicher. 5 seconds left on the man-up situation for Army. Carolina able to kill it off. Eicher shot, Eicher goal! Jackson Eicher gets things started here at home. Army 1-0, and the cannons go off.
Holy smokes, can he rip it? He gets the ball, and within 1 or 2 seconds, it's in the back of the net. That's his office. It's where he is scoring all season, and he fights through that long pole to finish that shot off and open the contest.
That is goal number 25 on the season for Jackson Eicher. Evan Plunkett credited with the assist. Plunkett's 6th assist of the year. We talked about earlier, if you like faceoffs, this is the game for you. Will Coletti, Brady Wambach, to the top in the nation. Coletti, a preseason All-Patriot League faceoff specialist and All-American, while Wambach is statistically the 5th best faceoff specialist in America. Both teams scrumming it out on the ground. Who will win the faceoff? Carolina won the first off of a violation, and it will be Army.
Great play by Ryan Nixon there. He's really stepped up on the defensive side of the ball this season.
So 1-0 lead for Army. Beautiful day here in West Point, New York. The parking lots were crowded this morning as this is a highly anticipated game. One of the top games in the college lacrosse landscape for the entire weekend when it's 2 top 10 teams.
Blackout, the fans came in dressed in black, ready for game action, although team on the field in white today. It's hot.
Plunkett guarded up top by a long stick. Ball on the ground, intercepted almost. Hill Plunkett picks it up. So both Plunkett brothers on the field. Hill, the younger brother of Evan. Eicher feeds it up top, and there's a goal. Gunnar Fellows, 2-0 lead here in West Point.
And those are the levels of depth to this offense, right in the middle of the field, about 10 feet from the net.
Eicher already 2 points on the day, and you see the goal. Fellows wide open, Matthew.
Great play by Eicher. You have to step up and defend number 3 in that situation if you're North Carolina. Great awareness by Fellows to find that small opening and triangulation in between three defenders.
Michael Gianforcaro, the goalie for Carolina, 6th best in the nation, allowing just under 8 goals on average per game, 17th best in the country with a save percentage, and Wambach wins the faceoff. It's 2-0 Army. A little under 12 minutes to go in quarter number 1, so an early lead for a team that fell last week. And non-conference is a big deal when it comes to the RPI and winning games in the college lacrosse season, because it's a very short season. We talked to Coach Bresci this week. RPI is critical, especially for an Army team that has been on the outside of the at-large bids last couple of years because they have not won the Patriot League. But this year they hope it's different, as the motto's been rents due. So it's going to go through the Patriot League once again for the Black Knights.
Yeah, and they're going to need to step up, although this matchup is huge. Keep an eye on next week as well with Colgate, number 18 team in the nation.
Oh, and Duffy! And an illegal screen as Duffy, one of the top players on this Carolina team. The goal will not count. Sean Byrne will clear it. Army did struggle last week in the 10-man ride versus Boston University. They're able to get it across with ease, but that could be a challenge today once again.
Well, something that Coach Bresci told us was how important it was that they had a week long to prepare. Last weekend they only had 2 days, and they tried to implement too much. They said this week they had a lot of time to take rest from last weekend and go into this contest with a lot more preparation, and they had a lot more time allowed for that.
Yeah, they had 8 days to be exact after they beat High Point 14-2. That was at High Point, but they stayed within the state of North Carolina. Army will continue to move it around. Braden Fountain. Now we get it back up top. Grant Masterson with the shorty. Masterson, he'll use his left, finds up top. No goal from Ryan Salou. Salou, he's been an impactful player for this Army team.
He's been a great impact player the last 2 seasons off the bench, and he's earned a little more time this season as a result.
Army has it back up top. Now at X. Weisenborn's shot. It stops right in front of G4 and Caro. And here we go with the Paul Barton clear. Barton with the long stick. Barton gets it to Duffy. And now we'll move it around once again. James Matten does a good job of recovering. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Army's defense swarming as usual. AJ Pilot, the guy to watch for today, number 20 in the white. An all Patriot League defensive man for this Black Knights team, one of the captains as well.
The Pilot plays a lockdown role. They'll insert him into nose guard positions, and we'll see what he can do today. Hasn't been challenged too much.
Pilot has 10 caused turnovers on the year, 1 today. Duffy up top. He has a shorty. He can take advantage. We know that, and Duffy loses it. But Dom Petramala looks to pick it up, and Petramala does. His brother Nick's on the team, but Dom Petramala, he had an incredible freshman campaign last year. A lot of people know his dad, who's on the coaching staff now. And this coaching staff for Carolina is the winningest coaching staff in America. 631 combined wins between John Thompson and Coach Bresci and Coach Petramala. It's a pretty impressive stat. And the first goal, Dom Petramala pushed into the crease after. Will they call a good goal? We await to see from the officials. Petramala's goal is good, and NC on the board from Dominic Petramala.
What a swim move to cut to the inside and dunk over 2 defenders. Over Byrne, had a defender on. It was no match, and he was committed to that play, and that's what you like to see from your top goal scorer.
28 goals for Petramala on the season. He leads the ACC in that statistic, and if you lead the ACC in goals, that's a pretty good thing to do, because the ACC, year in, year out, is arguably the top conference in America.
And as you mentioned before we got on air, 4 teams, but they always find their way to be 4 of the best.
Robert Simone as the face-off specialist for Army this time, and Army picks it up, so Simone credited for the face-off win. Simone's the number 2. He's 8th in the Patriot League in face-off percentage, so 2 starters for Army in the top 10. We're going to get a long stick shot, and Ryan Nixon puts it outside, so Army's going to get their offensive midfielders back in. Plunkett and company join, both Plunkett's actually, with Aiden Weisenborn as well.
Got to think those two have a great connection, number 4 and 11 for Army, growing up together, playing lacrosse together, and now at the military academy.
You go from playing in the backyard to playing here at Michie Stadium. Not much better than that. There's Hill Plunkett. Hill Plunkett's pressured and the ball's intercepted. Carolina going the other way.
North Carolina's done a really good job of breaking up passes.
Leif Heigerup is the one who intercepted it and brought it back over to Carolina's side. It's a one-on-one from Matten. Now Carolina wants to get their offense going and bring their offensive personnel on. Mason Suchek, who had a couple goals last week against High Points in the game, number 1 in the Tar Heel Blue. Carolina wants to go quick. Harshbarger up top. Caden Harshbarger passes outside of Petramala. They're going to play back and forth. Harshbarger, the freshman from Lake Mary, Florida. Now it's Dewey Egan with the shorty. "20 seconds on the shot clock for Carolina. Mann gets the screen. Mann comes up top. Mann shot. It's right in front of Sean Byrne. That was a little too easy for the goalkeeper.
First save for the keeper on the day. He made 18 last week against BU in the loss.
Now here's the 10-man ride for Carolina, where Army did struggle last week. Can they get it across? They need to get it across before the 60-second mark on the shot clock, and they turn it over right past midfield.
And again, this is a situation where you want to capitalize on opportunities, but North Carolina's did a good job so far early going in transitioning the ball, causing turnovers, getting upfield quickly, and that's exactly how they wanted to counter Army coming into the game.
Cooper Frankenheimer credited for the cause turnover against Ryan Nixon. So UNC over halfway through the quarter, down 2-1 on the road. Last year, Army got the best of them in their first win all time for Army. North Carolina leads the all-time series 1-4.
Last year, a one-goal game. This is the first time they're at Michie Stadium since the 1983 NCAA quarterfinal.
Billy Adams with the defense, the defensive midfielder, put some pressure on Carolina with 29 on the shot clock.
That was long before you and I were born.
Long before. I think we just told the entire audience we are pretty young based on that, but we feel old in our hearts.
Think about how long it's been since these two have matched up at the stadium, and now there's the construction going on as well.
Here comes Duffy. He's so quick and versatile. Duffy's goal, 2-2, ties things up. Owen Duffy. All of a sudden, we have a tie game, and Joe Alvarisi wants to call a timeout, but Owen Duffy coming from X.
And again, similar situation to the last goal we saw from Petramala. A dash to the net, a one-on-one situation. Not an isolated shot, but an isolated movement. Got the legs pumping, and that's what you get from the 2023 top recruit in the nation.
2-2, we'll be back in a moment. 5:39 to go in the first quarter. Anything for me?
I'm good. How about anything for me?
Perfect. I think we have a good flow.
Yeah, very good.
My mic kept dropping.
Yeah. I'm good. We got some clouds too. No
Feels nice.
Youth and club teams, make sure to bring your squad out to Michie Stadium and take part.
For nearly 4 decades, the Patriot League has delivered high academic and athletic achievements in the NCAA while paving a bright future for its student athletes. We are today's scholar athletes. We are tomorrow's leaders. We are the Patriot League. The Patriot League on ESPN is on Instagram. Championship moments, amazing highlights, behind-the-scenes coverage, and features on the best and brightest student athletes in the NCAA. Follow us at Patriot League today.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall.
He'll take the chicken fingers.
But with the money you earn from your Penn-Fed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Attention veterans. ShopMyExchange.com is your home for tax-free shopping with military-exclusive pricing, credit services, and free shipping options. Every time veterans shop their exchange, they make life better for all who wear the uniform. 100% of earnings support our nation's military community. Visit ShopMyExchange.com/vets to shop and save today.
Owen Duffy's 24th goal of the season as North Carolina ties things up. Matthew Mugno, Matt Goldman here on ESPN Plus, a presentation of the Patriot League. Thanks for joining us. It's a beautiful day for some college lacrosse. Getting things started early with the noon start, and this college lacrosse slate all day is going to be fantastic, but starts here at West Point. That could really shift around the rankings and the RPI for the entire college lacrosse landscape. Braden Fountain loses the ball in transition in North Carolina. Brett Koopman with the long stick. He'll trot along down the halfway point, and he finds his man in Leif Hager up. Now the offense will reset. Matthew, so after the Duffy goal, we saw him kind of just take it on his own and do a little ISO, and we're seeing Petramala do a little bit of the same thing. Petramala shot in, it's a goal. Goes right past Sean Byrne. 3-2, Petramala, goal number 2.
There you go, another individual effort, except this time from a distance, cutting across the seam. Looked the opposite way, a little bit against the grain. He picked his spot, and that's a situation where we talked about the nose guarding, the face guarding on defense. You want your best defenders on. Even though he took a few whacks, he still found a way to finish, and that was another goal scorer's goal from a top player for UNC.
So where I was trying to go before Petramala decided I'm going to take this one towards the net and go past Byrne, Duffy and Petramala, both some ISO plays, and they realize they can just go towards the net, so it's going to be tough for A.J. Pilot to have to balance. Do I go to Duffy? Do I go to Matten? Do I go to Petramala? Or even Ty English? So how do you figure that out if you're Army's defense?
Yeah, Pilot's a top chess piece, and you want him in a situation where he's guarding Duffin or Petramala, but you can only defend one of those guys, and obviously with the flow of the game, it's going to be hard to keep track of that. So Sullivan and Nixon are going to have to step up if they want to find success today.
Christian Mazer also in the game for Army, number 55. So good amount of long sticks on the field in the all-white for the Black Knights. Petramala, 2 goals today. Petramala looking for her hat trick. Tries to go the no-looker, and Sean Byrne. He'll play towards the end line. And we have a push. It'll be a hold, actually, so it's going to stay with Carolina. Byrne rushes back towards the net.
Very quickly, it looked like Army was able to pick things apart, but now a 3-2 score.
Carolina with under 50 on the shot clock, about 45 seconds at this moment. Carolina will take the shot. It's a beamer, and it goes past Byrne. That was Ty English, someone who we have not really talked about so far, but Ty English has been one of the top performers on this midfield.
17 goals coming from midfield. He's got the legs, 28 shots on goal this season, and you're right, haven't mentioned his name, but we'll see what he can do as the game progresses and he gets more opportunities on this turnover.
There's Christian Mazer, who picked up the ground ball, and he's going to use his wheels. He'll go towards net. Christian Mazer all alone. He'll find Braden Fountain. Fountain pulls it out. Did you like the idea from them pulling it out for Army and trying to get their offense a little reset?
Yeah, they spread things out, and that's exactly what their offense is built on, speed.
.57 on the shot clock. Braden Fountain. Fellows back behind the net. So Army moves around. 2:30 to go in quarter number 1. North Carolina on the road with a 1-goal lead. Aiden Weisenborn ties things up in the bottom right corner.
And that's depth scoring right there from Army. Weisenborn, 8 games played, 6 started, his 6th of the season, and this is a first year out of Chicago.
You see the ball just went right past Gene Forcaro in the bottom, and Weisenborn took it himself.
One-on-one situation, far side. Good look on that shot. I mean, seeing eye shot.
And for Army, number 17, Alex Vaquero.
Brady Wambach, who is 3 of 6 today, and Simone and Coletti combined for the other 3 face-off wins. It's Alex Vaccaro this time in the face-off X for the Black Knights. So we're going 3 deep for Army in terms of face-off specialist. Wambach wins this one.
Wambach is having a really strong start to this game.
A very talented face-off specialist, 4th in the NCAA in face-off percent, or in ground balls this season, 5th in face-off percentage. So he's been really a Swiss Army knife for this North Carolina team. Ryan Levy, him and his brother Alec, both on the team. Ryan's the senior, Alex the sophomore. Levy tried to find a cutting. Brevin Wilson almost turned over. Army's using some aggression, no foul. And we're not going to get a flag, so Army's going to keep on going. Carolina bench was looking for a penalty flag. Eicher one-on-one. Now Eicher will pull things out with 1:25 to go in this quarter.
And that play started 70 yards downfield. Sullivan with massive contact to separate man from ball, and a great way to step up and cause that separation.
Keegan Tracy comes out of the game. He'll plunk it back in for the Black Knights. Brother to brother. Now it's Evan Plunkett. Plunkett with the turnaround. He finds his brother. He'll Plunkett. The brotherly love ties things up, or gives Army a 4-3 lead,
Plunkett squared, and that's the motion you want to see on offense. Deception to open up avenues, dunking over 2 defenders from range, and this is similar to what we saw more from last season with Army. Finding those lanes, opening things up to give your shooters that opportunity, and that was great to see from the brothers.
How many times do you think they drew that up in the backyard when they were younger?
Too many to count, right? And again, that connection, it's valuable. It's unlike any other. You can't deny that brothers have a different connection than the rest of your team, although the cadets, I'm sure, have a little bit of an elevated chemistry as well.
No doubt about it. No matter if you're a firstie to a cow or a plebe. 35 seconds remaining. Carolina can run things out with the shot clock. So we've had 7 goals scored combined. Army, they started things off, and now they have the lead once again as we gear up for the end of the first quarter. Wilson is pummeled, but 3 penalty flags come on in, and Army will be man down. Technical foul will be a hold.
Christian Mazer took the penalty and saw he just got caught too high.
There's the penalty on your screen. Oh, yeah, he got him up way too high.
Heavy contact, but in this situation, if you're Army, you can't back off. 13 seconds, that's plenty of time for a team like North Carolina to pull something off.
The senior from Potomac Falls, Virginia. He'll go take a knee at the box. He'll have to take a knee for the start of the second quarter as well. Carolina will have 17 seconds, and they're going to just take the time off, head towards quarter number 2, come up with a plan for their man-up attack. And that's the end of quarter number 1 here on ESPN+. Army 4, North Carolina 3. Quarter number 2 action coming up after this break.
The pursuit is in all of us.
A common calling to protect,
connect,
and explore.
A drive to look beyond what is.
Ask, what if?
And define what will be.
A commitment to safety and quality above all.
From every person,
Growing with every day. Because working toward a better future
requires more than a legacy of excellence.
It demands a constant pursuit.
What makes a great relationship? Loyalty and reliability. A successful relationship requires trust, dedication, promises delivered. It grows with attention and constant connection. At FW Web, we work hard every day to show our commitment because we believe relationships matter.
The Patriot League on ESPN is brought to you by PenFed. PenFed is an official credit union partner of the Patriot League. Herb Jones. Herb Jones is proud to be the official championship jeweler of the Patriot League and the Patriot League. We are today's scholar athletes, we are tomorrow's leaders, and we are the Patriot League. Start of the second quarter, Matthew Mugno, Matt Goldman here on ESPN Plus. Thanks for joining us. It's Army and North Carolina. The 9th-ranked team in the nation, the Black Knights, have a 4-3 lead, but a man-up situation for North Carolina. Just 10 more seconds. Petramala takes a shot, denied by Byrne. So that's a way to kill the man up.
Yeah, and that's a quality shot, right? He had the lane, he had the avenue, and Byrne stepped up. That was a one-on-one situation. And now you're seeing his maturity in command and getting the ball upfield.
Evan Plunkett finds Hill Plunkett. Here comes Hill. Hill with the shot. It's a diving save by Gianforcaro as he was out of the net on the 10-man ride.
And there you go. All you need is one save to get into a game and get hot, and there's the opportunity and the chance for Gianforcaro to step up on an opportunity, make the big save, and start to swing the momentum in his team's favor.
Graduate transfer from Princeton. He's from Lincoln University, Pennsylvania. Went to Culver Academy, one of the top in the nation, in Gianforcaro.
He was an all-Ivy League standout, transfer here to UNC. And let me tell you, very different weather conditions he plays in, and it serves UNC in a good situation today that it's warm.
No doubt. It's like they're back at home.
Right? Princeton, in the beginning of the spring, it could be cold in Jersey.
It still's been cold here in Jersey and New York.
Oh, yeah.
Petramala, he was the intended recipient of the ball pass.
Like that play by Salucci to keep the ball on the ground and just nudge that forward, and he's really stepped up in Toman's absence this year.
No doubt about it. We'll get more into what Chase Salucci has brought to this team as we continue on. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Duffy, he crosses the field. Ty English. English with the shot, and a little bit of English on the end of that one. 4-4.
There's capitalizing on your opportunities, and this is what we talked about at the top of the broadcast, bending and not breaking. And in these situations, we've seen that the defenses on both teams have bent a little bit more than anticipated. This shot finds its way, a heat seeker over the top, and it beats Byrne. A little bit of a moving screen into an open situation, and he had the whole net. He could have picked any spot.
Mark Schroeder kind of just bit and went in front in English. Was like, I'm going to take advantage of this. So that's the issue sometimes with when you have Pilot and you have the others defensive men that really aren't the same as Pilot. So how do you figure out the nose guarding situation? Something we have talked about off air as well in terms of just the talent on this North Carolina attack.
Yeah, you have to pick your poison, and that can be hard when there's some deception going on. You saw a lot of movement in that play to open up lanes, and it can be hard to read, not just man-to-man, but kind of zone play as well.
Under 13 to go in the second quarter. It's a 4-4 game. North Carolina has another possession. They have won 6 out of the 9 faceoffs today. Brady Wambach has had a big impact in getting the possession started.
Bookmark that. That's a really important statistic.
Here comes Duffy. Duffy comes around and he just squeezes past Byrne. 5-4 lead. Carolina takes a lead now.
And both goals out of the stick of Duffy, wrap around and a dart to the net parallel to the cage. And that's what makes him special. He's finding ways to score in all different elements, and that's what makes Duffy a really strong attacker. It's not the situations where he's wide open and has his spot to pick. It's how he gets to the cage, it's how he pumps his legs and finds ways to get to the back of the net.
5-4 is the score. North Carolina, Brady Wambach on the field. You have Alec Vaccaro, the Fogo senior from Wheaton, Illinois. They'll battle it out, so we have not seen much of Coletti, and Vaccaro with the winning faceoff. He has it himself. He's going to keep it and takes a shot. Gianforcaro says no, no, no.
Another big save from Gianforcaro on back-to-back possessions for the Black Knights. And again, they've found a way to transition this into offense. That's what keeps UNC up by a goal.
One timeout remaining for Army. North Carolina has not used either of their 2 timeouts in this first half.
Matt, there's so many layers to this game. We talked about goalkeeping, how important those 2 saves were, how important the draw controls are, and now it's going to come down to the attackers as well, and most importantly, how the defense responds.
Spencer Wertheim shot, low to high, and it'll go Army's way. H.A. Pilot with the extra hustle at the end line.
Preseason Patriot League Defender of the Year. He won Defender of the Year as well.
This 10-man ride.
All-American.
Army successfully clears it with 60 seconds on the shot clock, and we apologize as our shot clock is not working, so we'll keep you posted on that. But for the Black Knights, look to tie things up. Clouds have covered Michie Stadium now. A bouncer shot on the outside. That's Christian Mazer with the shot. The D-Mini, who's come on the offensive side. Now he'll jog back off.
Mazer saw an opportunity. He lost his man. They were going for a change, a substitution, and he darted to the net, and that's why he was wide open on that shot.
There's Evan Plunkett. Finds Hill Plunkett in a legal screen and will go the other way and almost turned into another brother connection. Here comes Carolina. Long stick shot, long stick bounce. It's Paul Barton once again. Barton tends to want to score goals, and we have a timeout taken. It's Army, and with 10:46 to go, we're going to stay here. 5-4 is the score. So now you're Carolina right now. Gianforcaro is really starting to find his rhythm defensively. For Army, what do you need to do to take advantage when this Carolina defense is starting to find its shape today here at West Point?
Well, I think the first 2 goals we saw from Army were their bread and butter, right? Eicher from his spot, Fellows finding an opening, and on the Plunkett goal as well, moving the ball and creating an avenue.
We're going to go to break quickly. 5-4 is the score. North Carolina leads. Ninth-ranked Army 5th-ranked North Carolina Tarheels. It's 5-4 Carolina. They'll have the ball up top for Carolina, setting up their offense after their defense was able to clear it and get the turnover. How does Carolina formulate a 2-goal lead?
Yeah, I think for Carolina, they're doing everything they need to. They're finding their way in a multitude of creative plays to get to the net, right? Whether it's an individual effort or creating lanes. But I think Army's defense has been messy. They have to find a way to execute their game plan better.
There's Owen Duffy, 2 goals on the day. He'll fly around X, and A.J. Pilot will guard him, so you have your best offensive player versus defensive player, and he finds a cutting Ryan Levy. Owen Duffy with the assist. Ryan Levy with the goal. It's a 2-goal lead.
His 10th goal of the season, and again, support scoring is going to be a factor in this contest as well. You see it here. Again, one defender on. There's 2 players at the crease. One of those, Levy. That was very similar to the Fellows goal we saw on the opposite side of the field.
It looked like John Sullivan, Ryan Nixon, miscommunication on who should have been there for Levy. In that situation, what do you do for the defense?
I think they just have to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not sure if it's stepping up into more man, leaning more zone, but it seems like there's been a mad scramble on a few of the goals to cover North Carolina players, and they find a way to keep someone open. There's so many assets on the attack.
Wambach gets the opening the face-off there and finds Duffy. Now Parker Hoffman pulls it outside. It's a 2-goal lead for Carolina. Momentum seems like it has shifted in favor of the Tar Heels dramatically.
And you think back to those 2 Gianforcaro saves and how the Black Knights virtually haven't had an attack since he made his last save.
Ball is lost as Army's on the ground scrapping for it, and Army comes away with it. It's Andrew Miller with the long stick. Eicher brings it around the net. Finds Gunnar Fellows. Fellows waiting for some of his offensive teammates to try and cut. He wants to take it himself past GLE.
Fellows' bread and butter is in the X, and he hasn't distributed much today. I wonder how much he'd like to get more involved. They haven't had the ball that much in the last few minutes.
Evan Plunkett moves it back towards Braden Fallon. Plunkett with his left hand and fires, and it hits Fellows, so it doesn't go out of bounds. 30 seconds on the shot clock.
Steel legs, he took that like a champ, huh?
There's Hill Plunkett. Hill with the BTB, but potentially turns it over, and Gianforcaro comes away with it, so a gutsy play result, and it's going to be a push from behind, and will stay with Army. They caught a break.
And that was a good read by the keeper to go out and get the ball, as Fountain and Plunkett couldn't dig that up out of the crease.
The Clouds have really come on top of Michie Stadium now. It's a lot sunny earlier and a lot hotter, but now this has cooled things off for both sides. A fresh 80 was on the shot clock for Army, and it'll be a shot from Eicher. Goes out of bounds. Fellows. That'll be actually Hill Plunkett, and a timeout from Coach Joe Bresci. And we're going to stay here on ESPN Plus, and you see Gianforcaro. You watch that ball go by. So 6-4 with 8:07 to go. Matthew, the way Army has kind of let things slip a little bit so far, what do they need to do to get back into a 1-goal game right now? Because Jackson Eicher all of a sudden feels like we haven't said his name a lot lately.
You said the word rhythm, right? And it's like when you get on a treadmill and you're at 3 speed, you work up to that. Then you go up to 5 speed, and then you start running, right? You hit 7, 9, and you're at a full sprint. It feels like they're stuck at the 2.5. Like they kind of can't figure out, are they walking, are they jogging? And we've seen on the attack, it's been a little bit disjointed, and we've seen on the defensive side, it's been a little bit of a scramble. I think they just have to return, again, to keeping it simple and playing their game. They play the game in transition. If they're able to get 1 or 2 turnovers to go the other way and capitalize on those, they're right back in the game. It's a 2-goal game.
2-goal game indeed. You talked about 9 speed on the treadmill. Is that something you've ever done? I don't even think I've ever passed 7.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Is that,
I've never
have
done
you
the
done?
9
Have
speed
you done?
either.
You haven't done 9?
I'm not a runner though.
Okay.
I'm not a runner.
That'd be impressive.
I sprinted in high school,
Okay.
but nothing.
Do you think that was 9 equivalent speed on the treadmill?
Well, I think we're seeing North Carolina reach those levels, right?
Yeah.
Like they're really starting to turn up on offense, and they're playing with premium gasoline. So we'll see how Army responds out of this timeout, and if they can slow the game down maybe a little bit on the defensive side and turn up on the offensive side. And again, you saw Fellows. He took the ball from the X looking for an avenue. He had to take it all the way to the midfield because he was chased out of the zone. That's just not what you customarily see from this Army squad.
A lot of kids here today, a lot of different club teams. It's a great day to come out to watch some college lacrosse. 2 talented programs and lots of tradition, lots of winning. 5 national championships for the Tar Heels. Head coach Joe Bresci, 1 national championship in his back pocket. Last year they went 7-7 though, and they were 3rd out of 4 teams in the ACC. So they did struggle, but they seem to have been rejuvenated by these freshmen and the sophomores as well.
It's been it was a rebuild year, and he was very candid speaking with us about how the team went 7-7 last year. They had a lot of younger players, and with the head coaches, they've really found a scheme.
Jackson Eicher, we just talked about him, and he has his 2nd goal of the day. Gives a 1-goal lead for Carolina, but winded up and was able to pump one past.
There it is, right there. Fellows, he finds his man. There's no one covering one of the top strikers in the nation in Jackson Eicher. And he just unloads that off the back foot, front shoulder. That's exactly what we saw from Eicher all year, and it's, again, finding that rhythm. That's it right there. Finding that shot selection. Fellows finding his man to the right of the goal.
Brett Koopman was the defender who was a couple steps behind, and Wambach with another faceoff win, 8 of 11 today.
8 of 11, and you have to wonder what's going on as to why Coletti hasn't taken as many, or maybe whatever was affecting him the last 2 games is affecting him again today.
Oh, Coletti has... We have not seen Coletti on the field thus far. It's been Simone and Alec Vaccaro.
They're not just athletes here, too. They're cadets, right? They're partaking in extraneous physical activity every day, so you have to wonder how that's a factor as well.
Carolina brings it back up top, under 40 on the shot clock. There's Ryan Levy, who has a goal today. Skips a pass across the field. Now we'll bring it back with Caden Harshbarger. Suchek gets around, has a shorty on him. Suchek bodied against Mazer. Here's Suchek. He's fighting for everything. Tries to bounce it past Byrne. Ball stays in, and it will be a turnover. Here comes Christian Fournier. Moves. Army crosses across the field, but too high for Jackson Eicher. Christian Mazer got a little too excited.
And you're seeing how we talked about the support players stepping up into roles, and you're seeing Mazer took a penalty earlier, but he's made a few plays on the attack side of the ball, and if he breaks through again, it's adding some dimension to this team, that it's not one-dimensional and top-heavy.
7 for 7 today is Carolina on clears. Army's just a 6 of 7, so right behind them, but 100% completion percentage. And that's been very big for Carolina. Army did struggle again last week against BU, and they've done a pretty good job so far. Here comes Carolina off the pipe. That was Andrew Price with the shot. And Carolina keeps it in bounds and will retain the possession. A fresh 60 on the shot clock after it hit off the pipe. There's Pilot against Duffy, a matchup to watch all day long. 2 of the best in their respective positions. There's Matten, tries to find an open Ty English. English drops the ball. Now a scrum for the ground ball, and it will go right to Byrne.
Great communication and play there by Army as a collective unit on the back end. That's what you like to see as they try and make those adaptations to continue in this contest.
And a quick clear for Army as well. Braden Fountain, who just passed up the ball. Fountain has been quiet today except for his lone turnover, and for somebody who led the team in goals, haven't heard much of him today. How do you get him involved?
Yeah, you have to think about how it's his first time playing a truly top caliber team. We've seen some contests this year where Army went toe-to-toe, but with some top teams in the nation, but this is the one that's been circled on the calendar, and I think they had him drawn up. You know, first year, let's expose him a little bit and see how they've cut off the distribution centers for the team, and that's how he's scoring so much, right? He's not creating plays off three-dimensional opportunities. He's receiving the ball and scoring. So he cut that off, and you see Eicher's still limited to 2 goals.
Eicher, Fellows, Plunkett, Weisenborn, all with goals today. Hill, Plunkett, to be specific.
What a pass from Byrne.
And here comes Army. Plenty of time to clear, and they do so successfully. Back-to-back successful clears for this Black Knight squad. Eicher, quick shot after the pass. He'll stay with Army.
Those are the opportunities you do not want to give number 3.
Anytime you can leave him open, he's going to do some dangerous things with the lacrosse stick. Weisenborn up top. Here's Hill Plunkett, 1 goal today. Brings it back to X. A little hot potato from Army. Now Evan Plunkett up top. He had the shorty cutting Eicher, and that's a beautiful pass and a better goal. Tie game here at West Point.
Notice how Fountain got involved there. He set a pick. It allowed Plunkett to get free and find Eicher. That was a great play. Fountain towards the top of your screen. You couldn't see. You saw the end of the screen there, but that allowed the opening. And Eicher's too big and too strong for any defenders to keep him contained in motion, especially with the way he hammers down the twig. So a great play there on a combo of passes from the Black Knights.
An early first half hat trick for Jackson Eicher. Jackson Eicher, the attackman standing at 6'4", junior from Roswell, Georgia. Warrenton, Virginia. For Jackson Eicher, Roswell, Georgia for Evan Plunkett. Both those players getting involved with Brain Fountain as well. The entire attack line having some fun. And here's Jackson Eicher again, looking for goal number 4, and he creases the top right corner.
You think he's running at 9 speed, Matt? Jackson Eicher absolutely dropping the hammer here on the last 2 possessions. And this is a player that only played 6 games in 22 and saw no action in 23. Led the team in goals last year, and this is why. I think he learned a thing or two from his teammate Jacob Morin last year, who had one of the best shots in the nation, and you're seeing how it's coming through here today.
The cannon goes off, and that's a signal for an Army goal. 7-6. Army has taken the lead. All of a sudden, things have changed. The momentum has shifted as we gear towards halftime.
Former Tar Heel Michael Jordan, Chicago Bull, NBA legend, always said that time just ran out on him, and I think that's what's going to happen to one of these 2 teams today. It really feels like a marathon game.
A back and forth game indeed, and this has been a fun one so far. We still have another full half of lacrosse to play and under 3 minutes to go in the second quarter.
That's plenty of time for another momentum swing, too, with the way these 2 teams have played.
The Army crowd getting into it now with the 1-goal lead. Aiden Weisenborn gets the shorty. Wants to take advantage, but will throw it up top. Evan Plunkett with the swim move. Finds Hill Plunkett. Hill winds up. Gene Forcaro stopped right in front of him.
Similar shot to that of Eicher, the last 2 goals, and a way to step up for the keeper on that. Reading a good shot and a great pass from Evan Plunkett.
Now UNC has in their offensive zone, looking to tie things up before we head to the break.
Spencer Wertheim with the ball. We haven't talked much about him, but he's had a huge impact as a transfer as well for UNC this season.
Wertheim, one of the 5 transfers on this Tar Heels team. Owen Duffy with the shot. There's 8 freshmen in this class that were in the top 100 this year, and a couple of them have been really good so far. Chase Salucci, someone we have started to talk about a little bit, but when his 5 caused turnovers in that Stony Brook game, which was the most by a freshman in 4 years in the program, you start to really see that this freshman class has had a quick impact on this team.
Yeah, and sometimes it's forcing players to step up into a role.
There's a goal from Brevin Wilson. The freshman from Concord, North Carolina, gets in on the action, tied things up with 1 minute and 5 seconds to go in the first half.
That's what makes these programs special, the depth of both teams, and you're seeing it right now on both sides of the ball. Here's the highlight from that play. A move around the X in the crease. And you see he shifted gears from drive to reverse, found a way around Mazer, and finished that shot off. And sometimes physicality isn't just engaging in the big hits, it's engaging in the dirty areas, taking a hit to make a play, especially when it's shooting on goal.
4th goal of the season for Brevin Wilson. And Vaccaro attempts to win the faceoff, ball in the air, and it goes the stick of Ryan Nixon. All right, so you have 1 minute remaining, and the final timeout will be used of this half, and it is Army's timeout. We're going to stay here on ESPN Plus. Matthew, with the way Army is starting to shift things in on their offensive zone, and Eicher's starting to get more involved. He's got 4 goals today. Is Eicher the guy you're looking for to get one, to bring them up 1 before halftime?
Yeah, I think he's just a threat no matter what, right? The ball's in and sticking out within seconds, 1 or 2 seconds. He loves that free position where he's open at the bend of the arc, but I also think it's what's going to be important moving forward in this contest is not only having Eicher as your trigger man, but seeing how he can create, like on the Fellows goal, the 2nd goal of this game.
Now, defensive coordinator Dave Petramala, who's in his 2nd season at North Carolina, in the Lacrosse Hall of Fame, a national champion head coach at Johns Hopkins. He was let go in 2020 after the 2020 season, and he's made his way over, and his 2 sons are on the Tar Heels team. He's the defensive coordinator. What is he telling his guys in terms of how to limit Eicher especially, but the other weapons on this Army team?
Yeah, I think you shade Eicher and you see what the other guys can do, because Eicher is clearly a problem. We just showed the highlight package of the goals he scored in the early goings of this contest alone. It's a variation, and again, he's 6'4". He's imposing on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be hard to step up physically on him. So I think it's really going to be slowing the bleeding down and not allowing the ball to get to him. And that's going to be stopping Gunnar Fellows in the X, right? He's the ball distributor, and between those two, that's really the connection you see, unless it's from Plunkett in transition or with speed getting the ball over to Eicher. It's typically from behind the cage. So I think that's going to be how they slow things down. You saw how they forced Fellows on that one play all the way to the sideline and out of the zone. I think they're just going to have to continue to keep an eye on that.
The crowd is into it. The energy is picking up here at West Point. And Army will have the ball on the far side, right outside the box. And with a 7-7 game.
And Matt, you mentioned the coaching staff. I mean, it really does seem like for UNC you have 3 legitimate head coaches on the sideline.
Dave Petramala, John Thompson, the coordinators for this team, and Joe Bresci, the head coach. 630 wins to be exact between these coaches at their head coaching respective institutions when they were there, and it's by a very large margin towards the number 2, and that's the Duke staff.
That's approximately a year every day for 2 years.
It's pretty legit.
Quick math.
12 seconds to go. Army has to go quick. Fountain loses the ball. 5 seconds to go. Plunkett finds Fountain. Fountain has to get a shot off. Fountain gets the shot right before halftime. There's the freshman. He finally gets involved.
And Fountain absolutely rips that. He puts on about 10 moves before he gets to the net. And there he is. We've been talking about him all game for all the wrong reasons. No longer invisible. He is back. Wow, what a
difficult of a shot is that with the timing, the switching from the left to right with the defender right on you?
Yeah, he made 2-3 moves to cut to the net and was able to sneak that ball over the top. And that's what's made him special all year. It's not just the goals in quantity, it's the quality of the goals.
And both teams are going to jog into halftime. Army with a 1-goal lead, 8-7 is the score here on ESPN, and they have brought the momentum thanks to Braden Fountain, the freshman.
Yeah, he gets them ahead by 1, and that's going to be huge coming in to the second half of this game, because you come in tied, different story. At least it buys you a little bit of time before UNC can figure things out again.
Here's Petramala, who was really good in the first quarter, but Sean Byrne denied a couple times, and 8-7. This game has given us everything and more thus far, and it's the final non-conference game from both sides. Jackson Eicher, 4 goals, leads the way between both sides. The third quarter's coming up, but we have halftime now. Both teams will talk things over. We can't wait for half number 2, and we'll be back here on ESPN.
Hi, I'm Paige Messier in the Patriot League studio. Someone is going to have to create an IMDb page for Jordan Stemke because after today, he's officially a main character on this season of Patriot League Top 3 Plays. First at number 3, a halftime buzzer beater in Lewisburg.
With 1 on her senior day. That right there swings the momentum to Bucknell.
At number 2, Ida Machernik comes from behind to win gold in the 60 dash.
He gets a great start for Clark, but here comes Machernik. Ida Machernik wins gold for Lafayette. A 7.48 for Ida Machernik, matching her personal best. And it's going to be a gold medal for the Lafayette sophomore.
And at number 1, Stemke with the emphatic flush.
Back Stemke driving in, and oh my!
His head was at the top of the square. I don't know if we can make a pitch for someone to be in the Final Four slam dunk contest, but this kid's got to be in the slam dunk contest for the Final Four weekend.
Definition of with authority there. I mean, Mike, he looked like it was like that slam ball when you used to watch that where they would jump off a trampoline. That's what he looked like on that
100%.
play.
The postseason is here for Patriot League basketball. Follow us on social for all the highlights and check back in next week for some more Top 3 Plays. Hi, I'm Paige Messier in the Patriot League studio. Bucknell's Ashley Sofolkanik was honored in the preseason and did not disappoint this year, ranking 24th in the nation in scoring and earning the league's top postseason honor. The Bucknell sophomore forward was selected as the Patriot League Player of the Year. Sofolkanik led the Patriot League in scoring with 19.6 points per game and blocks with 2.3 per game. She also averaged 8.5 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists per game, and shot 50.2% from the floor. The Patriot League Defensive Player of the Year is Navy's Zanai Barnett-Gay. The sophomore guard, who was Rookie of the Year last season, led the league in steals with 2.4 per game. She ranks second in the league in scoring with 18.8 points per game, and fourth in rebounding with 7.8 per game. The Patriot League Rookie of the Year is Navy's Juliana Almeida. The freshman guard was among the league's top three-point threats, ranking third with a 39.5 shooting percentage from beyond the arc. She made 29 of her 32 threes in league play, where she averaged 11.2 points per game. The Patriot League Coach of the Year is Lehigh's Addie Messier. She led the Mountain Hawks to the #1 seed for the first time since 2010. Lehigh went 15-3 in league play and 24-6 overall, which included a 12-game winning streak during league play. Lehigh's leading scorer, Maddie Albrecht, joined Sofolkanik and Barnett-Gay on the All-Patriot League first team. She ranked third in the league with 15.7 points per game. The complete list of postseason awards in women's basketball can be found on PatriotLeague.com, along with the championship bracket and schedule.
Back here at Michie Stadium, Matthew Mugno. I'm Matt Goldman. Thanks for joining us. A presentation of the Patriot League on ESPN. And the score is number 9, Army 8, number 5, North Carolina. They have 7 in the Patriot League. You are watching today's contest on the Patriot League on ESPN. Visit PatriotLeagueStore.com for Patriot League Championship apparel and merchandise from your favorite Patriot League school. Matthew, this game has been back and forth, and it's been everything we have wanted and more. Army, the last second with 1.3 to go. Braden Fountain gets a goal, but this is how things got started. It was Army, and they led the first time with Jackson Eicher has 4 goals today. But North Carolina, back and forth it went. They had the lead, but Army started things off.
Yeah, you can see here, Eicher, this is a situation where I think UNC sat back and said, oh, this is what he's made of, huh? When you see it in person, I think when you're on the field and you have to defend a 6'4" attacker who can rip the ball, it's a very different situation. And that allowed Fellows to open up and start on a 2-0 clip to start the game. Eicher recognized that Fellows was open and that the defenders were drawn to him, and I think that's what he'll have to continue to do in this game. Although, for the rest of that first half, between the first 2 quarters, we saw how he capitalized on his opportunities. And it wasn't long before UNC got involved.
Oh, absolutely. Dominic Petramala and Owen Duffy, some of the guys who we expected to have an offensive impact, and they have really shown so far. But Sean Byrne also has had a really nice day in net. It's just he's going against one of the top offenses in the country.
I would say both keepers have had 2 exceptional saves on both ends. And I think, again, it'll come down to capitalizing for the keeper on saves to keep their teams in the game. They could stop the bleeding. That'll help things turn the opposite way and score some more goals. But again, UNC really found their rhythm.
You see a guy like Owen Duffy who had the goal, and Dominic Petramala, kind of a double duo that has been really good all season long. There's Petramala 77, Duffy number 8. Those two guys have been tough for A.J. Pilot in the rest of this defense to defend, but we've seen Pilot more on Duffy today than he's been on Petramala.
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup. I think for Duffy and Petramala, it's about creating space and opportunity. I don't know if it's about marking one man for Pilot to cover. And again, it forces Nixon and Sullivan into big-time positions. We saw Fountain finally come through, right? And sometimes you have to put a player in a high-intensity situation to get the best out of them and for them to rise to the occasion.
There's Sean Byrne, who went against a couple North Carolina players who whipped some past, and it was a very fun half in terms of just back-and-forth goals. 4 goals scored by Army in the first and second quarter each. North Carolina, 3 in the first, 4 in the second. And there was Owen Duffy, who came around and just squeezed it past Sean Byrne, who's the top goalkeeper in America. Both are in top 3 in scoring defenses, both of these teams, but we're about to get things started in just a moment. Matthew, what are you looking for in the second half for both sides?
Well, for Army, it's how they closed out the first half. And for UNC, it's about cutting off the distribution, right? Cut off the train tracks, because if you can stop Fellows and Plunkett from getting Eicher the ball, it then doesn't allow that second dimension for Eicher to either shoot when he's got the lane or open things up again and find a nifty pass cross seam to kind of stun the defense into thinking he's going to shoot. And for UNC, it's continuing what they've done, and I think Gianforcaro is going to have to step up big time in goal and make a few more big saves on Army.
And it's going to start with Brady Wambach in the faceoff X, who has 9 faceoff wins today.
Yeah, Army's 2 for 5, 2 for 7. They really have to step up in Coletti's absence through this game. We thought he'd be back. It looks like he's been on the sidelines for most of the game.
Yeah, and he was a big reason why Army fell last week and had the setback to Boston University, because you don't have your unanimous All-American at the faceoff X. And now you have Alec Vaccaro and Robert Simone both splitting duties, and Brady Wambach looks for faceoff win number 10. Carolina looking to get the ground ball, and Brady Wambach once again an opening shot, and it's outside for Parker Hoffman, but a goal that carried Army into halftime by Braden Bowen, his first of the day, the leading scorer on this Army team. Was able to carry them to get a 1-goal lead, but this UNC team, we know they can easily tie things up with one simple pass, and you find Owen Duffy or Dominic Petramala.
Yeah, that was a great play by Parker Hoffman to step up, carry the ball in stride, and look toward goal, take that shot, take it himself. And we talked about supporting offense, supporting attack. That's what it's made of. Players stepping up into roles that they're not accustomed to, taking charge.
There's Owen Duffy, who's so dangerous with the stick, and he's the top offensive player today. 2 goals, 2 assists, so he has 4 points. Dominic Petramala, who now continues his streak of 23 games in his collegiate career with a point in each game, and he was coming into this looking to continue that, and he's done that with ease today. And now North Carolina faces Sean Byrne, who had 7 goals allowed in the first half. He's averaging just allowing 5 per game, so North Carolina has gone over that mark, and he has 4 saves, and Army will get the ball.
Shot wide of the net, so Byrne challenged, but no shot on goal. That's going to be a factor coming down the pike, too, getting shots on goal.
Byrne almost loses it, has to get rid of it. The pressure was coming from James Madden. Army does a good job clearing their first offensive possession of this second half. Can they extend their lead to 2 goals here in Michie Stadium? We talked about how crucial it could be to get this win from a non-conference perspective, RPI, and that loss to Boston University last week, because it's all Patriot League from here for this Army team, and they need to win as many games as possible to get to the NCAAs. As he'll plunk it, he uses his right hand, and on the doorstep gets the goal. It's a 2-goal lead for the Black Knights.
That was nifty, and he used speed to breach into the zone, and they couldn't slow him down once he got to the outside. Here's how he cuts in. He found the hole. He had a man trailing. All they could do was wave sticks at him, and ISO on the keeper, a great swim move, and we've seen Plunkett pull those moves out away from the net. It was great to see it at the crease and the mouth of the goalie.
Kai Prosko was just trailing him the entire time. Really didn't look like he had a chance, as Hill Plunkett says, see you later.
And that's why that fountain goal before the half was really important.
Wambach, who has been instrumental today, finds Owen Duffy, who has another face-off win. That's Hill Plunkett's second goal of the day. His 9th of the season. So 2-goal lead. Sean Byrne and this defense are looking to get another stand against Carolina.
Yeah, and Hill Plunkett scored 2 goals in 3 separate games this season. Seeing some steadier pace here out of the gate in the second half.
Plenty of time to go. Under 13 minutes in the third quarter. This game is back and forth. Don Petramala finds the back of the net. There's Petramala, another goal for him.
And this is what happens when you're facing an elite talent. You and I could talk all day about X's and O's, but these players are the game breakers, and that's a game-breaking goal right there. Just an absolute rifle shot over Burns' left shoulder from range with speed. I don't know who's stopping that.
Not many people are, because he has had 30 goals on the season and his 3rd of the day, so Army has had themselves a handful with Dominic Petramala and Owen Duffy. Vaccaro and Wambach once again. 11 wins for Wambach today. Vaccaro just trying to jump at Wambach, and Wambach gets another ground ball and the face-off win. Getting the possessions has been tough for this Army team.
Yeah, and again, you see here that this is the 4th possession for UNC out of the gate in this third quarter. That's why Fountain's goal coming into the half was important, and again, players capitalizing on their opportunities like Plunkett is important.
Ryan Levy brings it back GLE towards the backside of the net. He has a one-on-one shorty. Up against Mazer. Levy wants to try and take advantage. Good defense from Christian Mazer. The D-Midi, a vital role in any team's attack on the defensive side. Mazer didn't allow anything for Levy.
Great play by Mazer to push him all the way to the outside.
Suchek with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Mason Suchek finds in cross on the doorstep. It's a goal for James Madden.
What a pass and individual effort to switch hands, get the pass through in tight. He pump faked, opened up, and had a man wide open.
Christian Fournier left him for the last second, you see, and they tried to double team, and that caused a late slide.
Those slides are going to be really important. Again, at this point in the game, you're looking to get to the inside. It's where you're going to score the most goals, and they open things up, capitalize on the opportunity, all knotted up, and like we've been talking about, Matt, it's really going to be until time runs out that a winner's determined at the pace these teams are playing at.
We expected this exact type of game coming into this week, as Wambach won the faceoff, lost the possession, and now both teams are going to battle. Eicher on the other side of the field playing midfield at the moment, and Pilot comes away. Yeah, Ryan Nixon had a big impact there for Pilot. All knotted up here at Michie Stadium. Pilot has the ball, the long stick. Now Evan Plunkett joins the party. Both teams 22 shots today, 13 apiece on goal. So it adds up to this 9-9 score. That's been exactly the even matchup we anticipated. Hill Plunkett swarmed and is heavily defended right now by Kai Proska. Plunkett got the best of him last time. Gianforcaro with the stop right in front of the net.
Proska with a phenomenal play, initiating the contact, drawing him to the outside and forcing him into a hard angle shot.
It's going to be a tough clear for Carolina. They only have 5 seconds to get it across, and they just do so in time. Carolina will reset with Ty English up top. Both teams also 8 turnovers apiece today, so that has been critical in terms of the possessions. There's Ty English. Heavily guarded now against A.J. Pilot, so you have to watch where Owen Duffy and Dom Petramala are on the field and who they're guarded up against.
Petramala deep right now. He's got Sullivan back facing him.
Dewey Egan with the shorty. Egan with the move. Egan with the shot. Bounces off the cleat of Byrne. And scooped up. Received is Byrne.
He's got Pilot. Nice move to spin away there. And Massapequa lacrosse team is here today. He's a native of Massapequa, New York, out on Long Island.
Army, another successful clear, and they wait to get their offense. It just feels like this game's going to go back and forth as time goes on, and almost halfway through quarter number 3.
See some fresh legs come in for substitution on Army side.
Grant Masterson back into the game up top, number 7, the all-white for the Black Knights. There's Jackson Eicher, 4 goals on the day, 1 assist for the dangerous attackman in Eicher. Shot clock winding down towards the 20-second mark. Shot, and it's outside, is attempted by Masterson. It's now Army, only 19 seconds to get a shot off.
And that clock's ticking down to 15.
Eicher up top. Eicher tries to do the skip pass, and it's intercepted. North Carolina with another caused turnover.
And that was Salucci reading that play well off of the best attacker, and Eicher forced into a time crunch situation. He looked for the pass, and Salucci came up with the play.
Salucci really stepping up in presence for Peter Thoman, who we talked about, Coach Bresci, that was a big loss to lose Thoman, who was one of the top defensive players in America, was a unanimous All-American, All-ACC, so there was a guy on that defense they knew that they were going to have to try and replace, and it's not easy to, but Chase Salucci has kind of been the perfect solution.
Yes, and we've seen him make subtle plays so far today that are important to drive play the opposite way.
North Carolina moving around. This offense feels like one shot away and could erupt this stadium for North Carolina. A nail-biter in West Point, New York. Thoman tore his ACL prior to this season, and right after surgery, he got back out into the practice field to coach up Salucci and the rest of the defense because he wanted to be out there with the rest of his team so badly, and Coach Bresci appreciates the leadership that he has brought from the sidelines. Right on the doorstep, Byrne in front, now near North Carolina, and there's A.J. Pilot. They're going to call a crease violation on North Carolina, so Pilot will pick it up either way, and Army gets the ball.
And this is why he's the definition of Patriot League Defensive Player of the Year. He just gets involved in every play.
A.J. Pilot, according to Inside Lacrosse, an All-American so far in the midseason. There's Jackson Eicher, who has a case to be made as one of the top offensive players in America. Goal number 5 on the day, and Army takes back the lead.
And there's the offense in transition. You saw Pilot make a play on one end, a crease infraction, and Eicher scores his 5th of the day.
The Virginia native, 5 goals, 1 assist. This guy has been on one, and Army takes the lead with 6:15 to go. We'll be back after this here on ESPN+.
Weekend and weekend mud and torque for days and getting home
and your little brother, and why he drives you crazy.
Just park it over there.
Nope. I think I'm good there. Okay. Keep it close.
You hit my truck.
Really?
In one tight spot. And the strength. And the smarts.
I knew it.
And the Silverado family of trucks. And Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Attention veterans. ShopMyExchange.com is your home for tax-free shopping with military-exclusive pricing, credit services, and free shipping options. Every time veterans shop their exchange, they make life better for all who wear the uniform. 100% of earnings support our nation's military community. Visit ShopMyExchange.com/vets to shop and save today.
It's been the Jackson Eicher Show. 10-9 is the score. Army with the 1-goal lead. Matthew Mugno, Matt Goldman, thanks for joining us here on ESPN, a presentation of the Patriot League. But Jackson Eicher, story of this game, story of this second half. The 5 goals has really elevated this Army team.
Yeah, they haven't been able to stop him. And it's like when the ball's in his stick, now you see it, now you don't. And they have to find a way if you're North Carolina to stop that.
Parker Hoffman with the quick shot. Owen Duffy with the pass. Byrne denied. Here comes A.J. Pilot. Pilot finds Eicher. Back to Pilot. The assist potentially. And it's a bouncer, but great idea from Jackson.
And you love seeing Pilot get engaged in that play, right? Getting upfield, pumping his legs. And this is the bread and butter for Army. And it starts with a Byrne save.
There's Evan Plunkett who gets it past Gianforcaro. It's a 2-goal lead for the home team in the Black Knights.
Yeah, we've been talking plenty about Jackson Eicher, but don't forget about Evan Plunkett, unanimous first-team All-American, PL preseason Offensive Player of the Year. He had a slew of awards from the league, and this is why. He makes subtle plays, he finishes everything that comes his way, and he also distributes like a playmaker. He's the complete package.
You talked about the distribution. 5 assists today for Evan Plunkett, and that's his first goal of the game, 11 on the season. But the distribution for Evan Plunkett, that is such an underrated part of his game.
Yeah, he moves the ball as good as anybody, and you see Fellows move the ball well in the X, but Plunkett does that all over the field. It doesn't matter if he's 30 yards out or if he's crashing to the crease and trying to find an opening. He really does all the small details right on the attacking end, and that's what makes him a supreme attacking talent.
Face-off win number 15 for Brady Wambach. That has been the Achilles heel of this Army team today.
Yeah, they're simply allowing UNC to get possession, and although they're down Coletti, the other players have to step up into that role and try and match. I don't think it was the players' fault for putting all their cards on Coletti today.
That was Simone with the face-off violation, so that's another, and the new rule is Vaccaro has to come in as the next one. Byrne steps out against Duffy. Byrne returns to the cage. But North Carolina starting to move it around a little quicker with a little emphasis as Petramala's shot stopped by Byrne, and here comes a clear. There's Nixon. Nixon finds Eicher. Eicher winds up. Eicher, goal number 6. This offense is on fire, Matthew.
Do you have a second hat to toss, Eicher? This is exactly what the team wants. This is their mold, the model that they play on. It's getting the ball from Byrne all the way upfield within 20 seconds. Eicher, isolation shot from where? Just at the bend of the arc. This is where he makes his money. And boy, you're seeing the separation now. The last 2 goals for the Black Knights, extending the lead on plays from the keeper, getting the ball upfield, and finishing the opportunity.
Wow, Jackson Eicher, 6 goals today, 30th of the season. Ryan Nixon credited the assist, but that started on the other side with Sean Byrne, and it's been impressive to see the way this Army team, all of a sudden the energy just continues on, and they're continuing the momentum, and Jackson's led the way.
Yeah, you have to think home field advantage is part of that as well. The weather factor, it's getting a little bit colder out, although it was very nice earlier today. Having fans in the arena, although there's some construction, filled on this side towards the booth.
America, take a peek as Army in a top 10 game is up 3 goals to North Carolina, one of the Blue Bloods in this sport. putting the country on notice after last week's setback. Byrne with the save. Byrne lost sight of it, but his defense says, I'll help you out.
Yeah, good read there, and that's one of those situations where, you know, if it goes against you, it's a blunder, but they've been able to escape a few of those today.
Byrne just shot it downfield, and it's a turnover. The clear, they did struggle that time with 3:44 to go in quarter number 3.
Yeah, clear attempt, and you're up a few goals. You take the chance on finding fellows, and they just didn't connect on that.
Gianforcaro, 5 saves on the day, 12 goals allowed. So that save percentage has really gone down for Michael, and was coming in as the third best goal allowed average per game in the country, but Jackson Eicher, who has half of the team goals today for Army.
Yeah, career 9-1 record, and he made 87 saves coming into the contest.
North Carolina needs to get a goal to keep this going, and there they are. Ty English. English with his second goal keeps this close. 2-goal game, 3:08 to go in the third.
19th of the season, and they're finding a way to keep it alive and keep it within 2, and that's all they need to do is just keep pace, right? They can turn up at any point, and if they can expose a few holes on the defensive side, this game's wide open. Still the third quarter.
That brought some juice to the bench for the Tar Heels. Brady Wambach, who has done his job to a T, 16 face-off wins, looking for the 17th. He's been excellent getting the possessions. Now can Carolina capitalize once again? He goes against Simone, and a push from behind. It's a flag now comes out on the field. The officials will confer.
Here's a replay.
Man down for the Black Knights. Will be assessed against Andrew Miller, who takes a knee. A slash, and that's a 1-minute foul. So that's not just your technical foul, 30 seconds. That is critical for Carolina to take advantage in a whole 60 seconds. Now, how do they do that?
You think about how this plays into both teams' favor. You score, it's a 1-goal game again, but if Army's able to hold them off, that would be a massive swing of momentum. I think it's just keeping North Carolina to the outside as best as you can and closing up any holes to get to the net.
Oh,
Mazer with some contact there.
Army man down. They can take their time now to draw off this and get to even strength. Evan Plunkett.
Just eat the clock, right?
Indeed, eat the clock. Just 20 seconds left on the penalty, starting now with the 20 seconds.
Exactly a minute on the shot clock as well. They can take their time.
Now 10 seconds on the penalty. Army will just move it back and forth between Fountain and Hill Plunkett. Aiden Weisenborn will check back in once the penalty is up, and we are now at even strength. An excellent penalty kill from the Black Knights.
Yeah, they caused separation, got it downfield, and just ate the clock up. Exactly what you want to see your team do in that situation.
Hill Plunkett looking for a hat trick. Weisenborn, who's in the game. Weisenborn, who has a goal today. Good defense from Gianforcaro.
Yeah, low percentage shot there, low percentage on the chance and quality, but get the ball to the net, and North Carolina possesses again. Great kill from Army to kind of slow things down here with about a minute and a half to go.
UNC will have to get a shot off with 60 seconds on the shot clock, so a 20-second difference with 1:15 to go in this third quarter. And a flag is on the field. They're going to call that against Army, so the next time Army tries to get the possession, a foul will be called. The pressure will be on. It's an offsides.
Clock still moving.
North Carolina can hold this. Keegan Tracy, the D-Midi, going up against Leif Hager up. Ball on the ground. Army has to be careful for not a second flag. Mazer is shown to be the aggressive D-midi on this Army team. He has played an impressive amount today for his position, and we're going to get the penalty called now. Jackson Eicher will walk towards the penalty box. Offside, 30-second technical foul, so North Carolina will go into the fourth quarter with about 9 seconds on the penalty clock if they do not score in these 21.2 seconds.
And again, every second feels like an inch and a mile for these opportunities, right? It's all about creating in the smallest amount of time because the pace of the game's so fast, and both teams have found their way to just crawl right back into the game.
North Carolina moving it around. Their man-up offense on the field. Ryan Levy up top. Just 2 seconds to go in this quarter, and they will start in a man-up opportunity. But Army with a 2-goal lead at their home field here on ESPN+. A top 10 game, looking for a top 10 finish. Who will be victorious after this? We'll see coming up here on ESPN. (12-10) is the score. Welcome back for fourth quarter action here on ESPN Plus, a Patriot League presentation with Matthew Mugno, Matt Goldman here. Thanks for joining us, the rest of our fabulous crew on this Saturday afternoon. Army 12, North Carolina 10. It's a top 10 game based on their rankings you see on your screen. Matthew, this has been fun for the last 3 quarters. We only have 1 more quarter left, just 15 minutes to play. It's a shame that this is going to end soon, but someone has to come out on top.
It is a shame, barring an extra quarter at the end of this, which could be in the deck of cards with how things have gone. I wish we could stand up here and watch 8 quarters of this game. It's everything you could want. We talked about defense and how important that's been. We've seen the adjustments. We've seen on the attack the best talent in the nation. We've seen in goal how important saves have been. It's had everything.
North Carolina man up for a few seconds more, and now will be even strength as Army had an offsides call against Jackson Eicher, and A.J. Pilot picks up the ground ball. And Sean Byrne pushed, and it will be a loose ball push against Dom Petramala. Carolina can't believe it.
Goaltender put himself in a situation to draw that as well. He's played smarter this year, and you see Nixon carrying the ball out now.
The lacrosse community has enjoyed this game because it has had everything. Jackson Eicher, 6 goals. Sean Byrne, incredible. Owen Duffy as well. Here's the Army offense. Braden found the freshman, finds Evan Plunkett, and they will slow things down. Both teams capable of making it to Memorial Day weekend for the Final Four, and wouldn't surprise me if we see one of these two teams, or even both teams, make it to the Final Four this season.
Ashton, you think as long as Boston University is not in the Black Knights' way, that they can get to the deep NCAA tournament.
North Carolina has to face a grueling ACC schedule with Duke, Virginia, Notre Dame, some of the top blue bloods and the dynasties of this sport. Notre Dame, the back-to-back national champions defending, and North Carolina has slid down the rankings, but still one of the top teams. Them and Duke will face off today. That should be a fun one. And Syracuse, Virginia on the other side.
Yeah, what was true yesterday might not be true today. A team that was 7-7 last year certainly doesn't look like that on-field product today.
Not at all, and this is a freshman class with 8 out of the top 100 on this Carolina squad, and a couple who have really taken a leap this year and have been kind of the sole leaders of their respective units, and these freshmen in Chase Lucia especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, they've taken ownership of their new roles, whether they were forced into it or earned it at a camp. So to see the younger players have an impact is exactly why these two teams are exactly where they are.
Braden Fountain pressured as Army loses it for a quick second. There's Weisenborn. Weisenborn winds up, and the shot is high. 31 seconds on the shot clock.
Here's a replay of that last shot, just high and wide.
Fellows pressured by the Chase Salucci, who we just talked about. There's Hill Plunkett. Hill Plunkett looking for a goal, low-high shot. Hill Plunkett, one more away from a hat trick, younger brother of Evan.
Third time's this charm. You want to see this attack get a shot on goal with 17 seconds left.
There's Evan Plunkett, the skip pass from Fountain. Army moving around. Less than 10, the shot clock, and there's a goal for Army. This offense is clicking at the right time.
And guess who? Braden Fountain. He found his way down Santa Claus Lane. We'll see here on the replay. A good look. Even though he had Eicher kind of screening the keeper as well, I don't know if because of the defender was in the way and Eicher, if the keeper was able to track that properly with the limited time window that Fountain pulled the trigger on that shot.
And a courageous pass from Evan Plunkett to feed it in there.
Just soft, right? A deft touch. It wasn't a hard pass. It was just soft enough to get it to, from netting to netting.
Robert Simone, Brady Wambach back in the face-off X. And Simone, he almost had the ground ball. Beat myself to it, but North Carolina does win the face-off. Face-off win number 18 on the day. They're 18 of 24.
That was Hoffman again carrying out. He's been instrumental from about the third quarter on in carrying the ball out of the midfield.
Simone has struggled today. Just 2 face-off wins for him and Alec Vaccaro with the other 4. Less than 12 to go in this game. Army with a 3-goal lead. Christian Mazer against Ty English. A great matchup, midi on midi, and Christian Mazer has brought the boom today with his defensive prowess.
Yeah, he's really been physical, and that goes with the 6 points he has in 38 career games, his 39th today.
And Duffy a little quieter in this second half, and guy who really got things started early on. He'll set the pick. Dewey Egan comes around the outside. Good defense from Pilot. Now a switch as Owen Duffy has it right in front of the crease. English has to back outside. Here comes Petramala. Ball is stopped and is hit by John Sullivan.
And this is the defense we did not see earlier in the game.
And a shot clock violation happening in 3 seconds if Carolina can get it away, but Army scoops it up in time.
That connection, Sullivan to Mazer. Role players stepping up in big moments. And they have a lot of time to work with here. Up 3 goals. Hair under a minute on the shot clock.
Some of the cadets on their feet that are in attendance today. A very good crowd here at Michie Stadium.
Saw a great shot before on the big screen where they were cheering, and they've come out in full to support their fellow cadets.
So Army can take their time now, but we're going to see some more pressure from North Carolina's defense.
Well, it's like an oven. The temperature is going to keep going up the more that time goes on. So we'll see how they respond, or if they make the push now to stretch for offense.
Eicher looking for goal number 7, hits the top pipe, and it will be a fresh 60 on the shot clock.
He took that shot from the 20, and it found its way at the opposite 40.
No matter where Jackson Eicher is on the field, he can pump one past any goalkeeper in America.
Yeah,
6 goals today.
Yeah, this is a player that didn't play this way the last few years. You know, last season was his coming out party, and he's really, really made an immense impact for this program.
He's had 10 total shots today. 6 of them have gone past Michael Gianforcaro, who has struggled in the second half. Tyler Clark in the game, getting some run with Army. He'll take it to X. 15 seconds on the shot clock for Tyler Clark. Army needs to go with 8 seconds. D'Agostino loses the ball. There's Salucci. There goes Chase Salucci quickly. Finds Owen Duffy. Duffy's going to make some moves. Duffy pulls it back. Timeout, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
And good timing. It caught Army kind of stagnant.
It's 13-10 with 8:42 to go in quarter number 4. We'll resume for the rest here on ESPN. (13-10) is the score. Matthew Mugno, Matt Goldman, our fabulous crew here on ESPN. Clouds are covering Michie Stadium here at the historic West Point, New York, United States Military Academy. The shirts are off for some of the fans here today. It's been a hot one. It's been the best weather we've had here in the Northeast, but Army, 9th ranked in the nation with a 3-goal lead over the North Carolina Tar Heels. Matthew, what has stuck out to you in the first few minutes of this fourth quarter?
Well, first, based on the weather, the cadets usually have ice in their veins, and they're playing through March, and it's freezing here. They've really fortunately had spring start early, and they had a really nice weather day today. But what stood out the most for the Black Knights to me was getting back to their game, right? It looked like they were a little bit lost in the defensive end. They weren't scoring as much as they did out of the first 2 minutes. They really got back to their game plan, and that's what great teams do. They find a rhythm back into their identity. They don't just fold when push comes to shove.
James Mann with the shorty, back behind the cage. North Carolina needs to put a little more urgency into their offense. Some juice now as Owen Duffy grabs the ball that was going out of bounds, and Owen Duffy goes right in front of Sean Byrne. Gets one past him. It's a 13-11 game with 8:12 to go, so North Carolina not out of this one, not even close.
I think the Chapel Hill Delis need to name that the Duffy Special, a wraparound goal, right, one-on-one against Pilot, using his foot speed to just reach across, and we've seen him score that way this afternoon already in the first quarter. He finds a way again, and that's why he's a creative asset for North Carolina.
There is Owen Duffy sophomore who went to St. Anthony, so he's a New York native. New York is the most represented school on this North Carolina team, 12 members of the team, more than any other state, so a lot of families back here to watch their children play this game, and with 8 minutes to go, it's a 2-goal game.
6 goals combined between Duffy and Petramala.
It's been the offensive double duo that has done it all year long, and they have another opportunity now with another face-off win. Petramala passed it up to Ryan Levy.
And all these names have found a way onto the score sheet this afternoon. Levy with the ball right now. He scored a goal as well.
There's Ryan Levy right in front. Owen Duffy was ready to take one, but Sean Byrne says no, no, no. And the rebound, who's going to win the possession? It will stay with the Tar Heels. 38 seconds on the shot clock.
And what a save by Byrne to step up one-on-one within feet of the crease. He's able to stop that, force the shot over the net as well on the rebound.
20 shots on goal. Play. 20 shots on goal for the Carolina Tar Heels today. There's Duffy again, looking to add to his 4 goals. Duffy with a low shot. It's stopped by John Sullivan before he even reaches Byrne, and Byrne is able to grab the ball, and it's a penalty called against the Black Knights. Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Oh, this is not a situation you like to be in. 2-goal game. Contact's good, but taking penalties and discipline. Pilot with that block shot to start, and you just want to fish that ball out.
That's going to be called all day. Keegan Tracy got a little too high, it seems to be.
Tracy initiates contact with a player that really wasn't a threat. He had his back turned towards the goal, so he couldn't immediately just scoop and score. So recognition from the defender there to not initiate heavy contact like that or take an infraction is going to be important down the stretch for Army.
Well, it's a 1-minute call against Tracy. It's a cross check. So Carolina down 1 goal, looking to take advantage. But Christian Mazer again, the defense. He's causing all things that go wrong for Carolina, especially on the man-up opportunities. He's done that more than once today.
And you know how comforting that is for your cornerstone defenders in Nixon, Sullivan, and Pilot to have Mazer stepping into that role and helping, becoming a 4th asset on the defensive side of the ball.
Nixon did lose the ball there when they were trying to go in transition, so Carolina does retain possession. They have about 22 seconds on the penalty clock.
It's a slippery slope, too. Look up at the clock, 6:25 and counting. Time is the enemy now for UNC.
10 seconds to go for Carolina. Right in front, and it's a goal. There's Ryan Levy, another goal added to his tally, and it's a 1-goal game here in West Point. Penalty is killed off now. It's 6:16 to go.
And this is not unfamiliar territory for the Tar Heels. They played in a similar contest the way this scoring is going against Princeton, and the thing they learned, they had to stick to their game, and this is what their game is, scoring from right around the crease. And they capitalize again on an opportunity to cut this lead to 1.
A treat for many today, watching at home or here at Michie Stadium. 13-12, it's a 1-goal game.
Great
Wambach
tailgates this afternoon as well.
Oh,
outside
absolutely.
Of the stadium.
We couldn't believe it when we were entering the stadium. They were here before we got here. Lots of dedicated alum, but at the same time, a lot of families are here today with their children watching this. Lots of club teams from the surrounding area, but under 6 to go in this game. It's a 1-goal lead for the Army Black Knights, who are looking for a top 10 win on their resume to add when it comes time to May. And a trip to Memorial Day weekend is what they're looking for with this team with the motto, rent's due.
And Hill Plunkett's back on the field for the Black Knights.
Both Plunkett brothers out there. There's Evan Plunkett with the ball against the shorty Jackson Eicher. 6 goals today.
That's the most we've seen Eicher challenged.
Seems to be Carolina starting to step up anytime number 3 has the ball in his stick. Bellows comes around. Salucci guarding heavy against him.
Salucci's done a really good job one-on-one against Fellows.
Weisenborn winds up with the lefty turnaround. Gian Porcaro with the save.
Big save there for Gian Porcaro to gain some confidence.
Good
within
clear.
5 minutes.
Brett Koopman with the long stick. Tries to get to a shorty. Petramala, off the bar.
Shot heard around the world. Found its way to midfield. It's the guy you don't want to have the ball in his stick. Hits the post, and Burns says, thank you. Thank you to the post on that one.
Petramala, who can wind things up and threw a laser beam that time. He has 3 goals today. Him and Duffy combining for 6 of the 12 for the Tar Heels. There's Duffy up top. Duffy finds Ty English. English on the opposite side of Byrne, and Byrne gets the save.
He was calm and composed there as the ball came out in the crease.
Army doing a good job to clear things up. AJ Pilot looking around. Pilot's going to use some moves and the nifty footwork. Ball's in the air. It's on the ground now. Carolina swarming around.
Huge hit thrown at midfield to separate man from ball. UNC was not happy that it was not penalized.
Braden Fountain came out on top between both sides with the ground ball. And with 3:54 to go, we're going to have ourselves a timeout, or we're going to actually have a violation. It's going the other way. Joe Bresci was barking with the officials on something just now. But North Carolina has it back, an opportunity to tie things up. Less than 4 to go in this game. You can feel the intensity, Matthew, and the way things are starting to crumble for both sides. And who's going to come out on top is the big question, obviously.
At the moment, this was the score of last season's contest, except flipped for the Tar Heels, up by 1, 13-12. 3 minutes to go. We'll see if anyone can break this open or if it's going to be down to the wire.
Ryan Levy back at X against Mazer. Now Pilot steps up. Pilot with the defense. There he goes. He penetrates against Levy. We're going to have a violation. Stays. It will be a hold against Pilot.
Pilot takes an infraction there, but it was great defense that preceded that play. So close to getting the ball. Replay, courtesy of our crew.
3 minutes to go in this game. Duffy comes around X. Duffy is quick. We know what he can do. Pilot comes in and brings the boom. Army causes the turnover.
Duffy slow to get to his feet as the Black Knights take the zone.
There's one of the top players in America, AJ Pilot, having a major impact in the rest of this Army defense.
He's got his arms above his head. He's huffing and puffing.
Can't blame the guy.
No. See Duffy slow to get to his feet, too. They're laying it all on the line this afternoon.
Monturio picked it up for Army and brought it over to the other side. AJ Pilot with another caused turnover. 3 of them today, 4 ground balls for Pilot.
And here's Hill Plunkett in frame. How important has he been to this team?
Here's Hill Plunkett, the brother of Evan. Hill has been impactful today and very impressive. Passes back to Mazer with the bouncer, and he'll stay with Army. 28 on the shot clock, less than 2 to go in this game.
That would have been the exclamation point for the Black Knights. Mazer, who's played a significant secondary role this afternoon with a shot on goal. Just wide.
16 seconds to go on the shot clock. Evan Plunkett back at X. Eicher in front, BTB! But it goes past the net. 10 seconds to go. A critical 10 seconds for Army.
Looking like a John Stockton pass on that shot behind the back. Holy smokes.
Here goes Plunkett. 3 seconds. Plunkett just chucks it back. And time winds down. 1:31 to go in this game. And Carolina, a fresh 80.
1-goal game, Tar Heels ball. They need this opportunity.
Just a 9-man ride for Army. But they're bringing the pressure. 7 seconds to get it across for the Tar Heels. Do so just in time with Dewey Egan.
Dewey Egan heads up play, calm with the pressure on him.
Timeout, Carolina. 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining. We're going to stay here on ESPN Plus. This game, you can feel One goal for both sides. The crowd is going to erupt either way. Army looking to get this non-conference win. Carolina looking to go into ACC play with another top 10 win on their resume. Right now, Carolina has possession. Plenty of time on the shot clock. 1:07 left. What are they drawing up right now? What is John Thompson and Joe Bresci saying? What do we need to do, and who do we need to get to?
Yeah, you illustrated the macro perfectly, but the micro in this situation is if UNC is able to find a lane and get their shot selection that they want, which we really haven't seen much of this afternoon. Duffy scored 2 goals wrapping the ball around. We've seen some net front. We haven't seen a lot of isolated shooter on goalie situations. That's what they're going to be looking for. That's what I believe they'll be looking for, considering the Black Knights defense has stepped up and started to seal things off. They're going to have to move the ball and find a lane to get that shot off. But if UNC is able to capitalize, Big Mo is on their side. Momentum is on their side, tying the game, getting that energy boost. And with 1:07 left, you have the shot clock to run with, 56 currently standing. And that's the amount of time the Tar Heels are going to have to tie this thing up.
Joe Alberici talking to his entire team in his 20th season. He's looking for his 180th win as the Army head coach. That could be done today in just 67 seconds from now. But North Carolina might have something to say about that, and they will have possession. What an atmosphere we have here at Michie Stadium.
Alberici just led the team to back-to-back 7-0 starts prior to last weekend for the first time in a long time. And he looks to continue to build momentum towards a national title.
North Carolina back at X. It's James Madden. Under 1 minute to play in this game, a top 10 game here in West Point. Owen Duffy. Duffy in front on the doorstep. Army ball in the air. It's tipped by Nixon. There it is. Army. Ball is lost. Alberici's looking to try and call a timeout. We have a scrum now. No one's out of bounds. Ty English saves it. 30 seconds to go.
Amazing effort from both teams here.
Spencer Wertheim looks at the clock. 20 seconds in this game. Petramala one-on-one. Him or Duffy's been the guy today. Caden Harshbarger, 5 seconds to go. Wertheim. Carolina has to take a shot. And it's over! The Black Knights shine in their armor at home and get a top 10 win against North Carolina in what was an amazing game, 13-12.
And the Black Knights win off of resiliency. They stuck to their identity. And here's the big play by Nixon to get things out of the zone. It came back in, and they were able to just stop the Tar Heels from getting a shot off in the allotted time they had. Again, I wish we could call this game for 8 more quarters with the way it went. I think both teams put on a phenomenal effort, but for the Black Knights, over the top. They beat one of the top teams in the nation, and it's a statement for this program.
There's Joe Alberici, 20 years as the head coach at Army, and he has 180 wins in his career at the helm for the Black Knights, and this has to be a sweet victory for him because he knows how important this non-conference slate was, and Army got it done at home and treated their fans to what was a fantastic game.
Oh, and to finish off non-conference against the Tar Heels, it's the first game here since 1983. Huge win. You had people in the building watching, tailgates going on outside. Outside of the hype factor for the team itself, a confidence boost, right? You're going into next week. You're coming off of a loss against Boston University, who seem to have your number for a few years. You go into Colgate, number 18 team next weekend. That's another big matchup to watch, and then the conference slate. So this was a massive boost for the squad.
13-12 was the score in 2024. when Army got their first win against UNC in the all-time series, and they get their second consecutive win, which brings them to an 8-1 start in back-to-back seasons. This was a special game today, and it was led by Jackson Eicher, 6 goals, 1 assist for the Black Knights, and Sean Byrne in net, 10 saves, 12 goals allowed. Both those players had a great impact. AJ Pilot as well, but who stuck out to you on why Army had the success they did?
Well, I would start with the fact that they were losing draw controls, but the defense stepped up. Sullivan, Nixon, and Pilot all stepped up. Christian Mazer, what a supporting role he played to initiate physicality and pay attention to detail on the back end. Eicher on the offensive side of the ball, and Fountain had a few moments himself to keep the game and momentum going in favor of the Black Knights, especially at the end of the first half with his goal within seconds of halftime.
There's Jackson Eicher, who was ripping them past defenders all day long, and this was the defense that came up clutch towards the end. Sean Byrne in front of the net could win his 3rd goalkeeper of the week in the Patriot League. He was phenomenal today in the defense from Keegan Tracy, and the rest of company was excellent. North Carolina falls to a 7-2 start on the year. They take on Virginia April 5th. That game will be at 4 p.m. on ACC Network. And Colgate is Army travels down to play a 2 p.m. game. That will be an exciting one. Both teams' conference play starts. Gonna sign off now. Army 13, North Carolina 12. A top 10 win for Joe Alberisi. For our entire crew, Matthew Mugno, Matt Goldman here. So long from Michie Stadium, and we'll see you next time.